Welcome to another viewing and reacting video brought by me, the J Dude. Today I'm going to take another look at a Twilight-Tober Zone episode called A Most Unusual Camera. I know the grammar's wrong, but I'm not the one that wrote it. Boom 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 boom. Oh, that gives me chills down my spine. Oh, especially that part.
A most unusual camera is one of the most Rod Serling.
It should be called the most unusual camera. Saying kind of makes it less special than it is. But that's just my opinion.
His titles across this series. I can't read it without hearing his voice. The premise is an intriguing one, but isn't worth rewatching. Chester and Paula Diedrich are a pair of thieves who just robbed a curio shop. As they rummage through their work.
Curio shop? What's a curio shop? Is that like an antique store or something? Let me know in the comments like what's a curio shop. It almost sounds like Cheerios, like Cheerios, that cereal. It almost sounds like that. It also almost sounds like keys as well.
Worthless Hall, Chester discovers an old camera. He tries taking a picture of his wife, but it doesn't immediately develop. After a minute or so, it does spit out a picture, but not exactly the one he took. His wife is wearing a fur coat that she wasn't wearing when the photo was snapped. Soon after, they discover a fur.
If you listen very carefully to the background music they're using like a dun 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 dun. It almost sounds like a dun dun sound, but it plays like every other second, so it's very careful. And I love how the picture does like flips out, like pops out of there. Almost like a precursor to the Polaroid cameras. You know those Polaroid cameras where you take a picture, poof, and the picture and the camera spits out the camera like this, poof, and the picture goes out there. Yeah, that camera's kind of like a precursor to that.
Coat hidden in one of the chests they stole. Paula excitedly puts it on and poses for Chester. Diedrich looks back at the picture and discovers that it's the same fur coat and pose. Later, Paula takes a picture of the door to prove it was some kind of fluke, but when the photo develops, it shows her currently jailed brother Woodward standing in the doorway.
Woodward.
Moments later, Woodward appears. He broke out of prison and is filled in on the situation. The trio decide to take the camera to a horse racing track to win some money, and from there, a few more surprises await. This is one of the simpler stories that I've rewatched thus far. And that's not a knock. A ton of phenomenal Twilight Zone episodes are simple stories. But with the fertile premise this one had, I feel like they didn't do enough with it. I'm not saying something bigger like the fate of the world had to be on the line or anything. I'm just saying the emotional stakes felt very low throughout the duration of the episode. With another story surrounding it, this concept could have said a lot more. In fact, this episode did inspire the Goosebumps book Say Cheese and Die, and its sequel, Say Cheese and Die Again.
Well, I did not know that. I heard about those 2 episodes of Goosebumps. I even watched those 2 episodes of Goosebumps. They weren't my personal favorite, but I still remember those 2 episodes nonetheless.
They were both adapted into Goosebumps TV episodes, and while they aren't high art, I at least remember the first one being lively and interesting enough, using the premise to a much more satisfying degree. Almost
I agree with him.
unusual camera isn't terrible, though. Fred Clark plays Chester Diedrich with a very natural delivery. He's believable as a small-time crook who's annoyed by having to team up with his wife and brother-in-law. There are a few funny moments achieved by what he brought to the role.
Here, world. A gift from Chester Diedrich and his wife.
Don't forget Woodward.
Yeah, and you too.
By the way, there's this weird echo in that scene on the Blu-ray. Listen if you can hear it.
Here, world.
I don't think that was supposed to be there. You can watch the episode with the original or remastered audio on the Blu-ray set, and it's on both of them, so it must have been some kind of mistake made in the original mix. Just to...
Like, here road, here road, here road, here road, here road, here road, here road. I'm surprised that guy didn't say, I'm dumb, I'm dumb, I'm dumb. I'm surprised he didn't do that.
An odd thing that I noticed. I recognized the Woodward actor, Adam Williams, from his previous Twilight Zone appearance in The Hitchhiker. He played the sailor Nan picks up and is very memorable in that small part. Here, he's playing the dumb brother stereotype, but he's not bad as the comic relief in an already comedy-heavy episode. It just felt like the cast was spinning their wheels a bit since the story didn't go anywhere overly stimulating. Director John Rich kept things pretty basic in the one set used for the majority of the episode. He came back one more time to helm Season 5's A Kind of Stopwatch. Rich is known best for directing 81 episodes of All in the Family and 41 episodes of the original Dick Van Dyke Show.
Neat. Alright, the spoilers?
After using the camera to win thousands of dollars at the racetrack, a French waiter enters the room to read the inscription on the front of the device.
10 à la propriétaire. That means 10 to an owner. Well, I presume that means you may only take 10.
With only 2 pictures left, the trio argue about how to use them when the camera snaps off another photograph. This time, it's of Paula looking shocked. Chester and Woodward think the look on her face means the other is killing them in front of her, so they tussle until they both fall out of the open window and perish below. After a moment of mourning, Paula realizes she's left with the money and uses the last picture to take a photo of the dead bodies for posterity. The waiter then re-enters to reveal he knows they were thieves, and with Chester and Woodward out of the way, he begins robbing Paula. When he picks up the camera, he sees that the picture shows more than 2 bodies on the ground outside. Paula goes to check, trips, and falls to her death. The waiter then notices there are 4 bodies in the picture and drops the camera as a yell is heard in the background. We're left to assume that he was the 4th corpse.
Don't assume, never assume. When you assumed, you make an ass of you and me.
The ending of this episode is uncharacteristically clunky. The waiter only notices there are 4 bodies after Paula falls. The men immediately start fighting to the death because of an extremely ambiguous picture. It felt like Serling just wanted them all out of that window fast, and it ended up seeming like a rush job to get them there. Did the waiter jump to his death? His yell and how that last sequence is paced feels more like a Three Stooges short than a Twilight Zone.
I totally agree.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Skip this one. It's not the worst episode of the show, but it's dull, clunky, and wastes a good premise. Maybe all 4 characters fell out of that window and into a better area of the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. That was my viewing and reaction to the Twilight-Tober Zone episode of A Most Unusual Camera. If there's anything else you want me to view and react to, please let me know in the comments below.